that might be coming about, whether it's their first series of the day, whether there's clumping a bit too much or spread out a bit too much. End of the day, though, if Incognito is playing well, I expect them to handily take the series. However, if they're not playing at the top of their game, if they're playing similarly to how they played the first match that we watched them earlier today, they could very well lose this. I'm not discrediting that at all.
Zealot flag will start this run off. Both of these rosters going head to head. Initial kills coming out from the side of Incognito. Red team will be their color RBG over on the opposing side of blue. Sniper goes down, but not before going through the portal, so it's in safety net for now. Scrunching up around the spiral area. One player there is at least forcing these players back into the nade launcher area, but that comes into play. Goofy with the initial kill there, looking for this second player who is just hiding down low in basement. Needs to be really careful. Comes around the corner. He's not in basement, not always completely wrong. But regardless, if you're not going to go down with killing him, you might as well stick him before doing so.
Absolutely. What a heads-up play. Clearly things not going the way Goofy anticipated. I thought that was actually a really good play by Goofy, though, originally, because he just said, all right, this person has to come up to me. I can be a bit unpredictable and just wait here. And Neptune getting a triple kill just as we started talking about that. Almost securing the over. Getting an unofficial overkill.
The unofficial overkill, I like it. More important, they can run this one. They've got Cyan top middle, who will just be the defensive stand that stops any push from across gold side. They'll keep running this one.
Trouble now.
There's been a decent response here. I like this. The thrown body's on the flag. They'll be able to jump on it. Remember, this is CTF 5 flag, so you can get the re if you manage to get there in time. That's rather unlucky. Just misses it and it hits the corner.
There's something to be said for this, though. Think about what just transpired. Neptune gets a triple kill, gets an unofficial overkill. And Incognito aren't able to capitalize and finish that cap off? They didn't watch the right angle, someone spawning on flag spot, not running the flag fast enough, not getting the support over quick enough, not getting the last moment touch. That doesn't bode well in my eyes if I'm an Incognito fan, because you expect for them to capitalize on all those situations when they have everything going for them. And you also expect for them to pull things out when things are even or against them. So that doesn't really spell like it's going to work out very well here for Incognito if they're not able to take advantage of the times that they should almost have handed to them.
I suppose the best way to kind of pitch that is micro macro plays, right? You have your macro plays, which are you getting the kills, getting the frags, moving the objective, doing what every just normal casual player, Halo player will want to do. But then you talk about these micro transcripts that need to come through. You need to be watching the spawns. You need to know where they're going to be spawning. What angles are free? What angles are available to shoot from? Where can you make a point of entrance? And if you're not locking those down, hell, you can have the biggest and best and baddest setup in the entire world. But if your teamwork isn't on point to hold that setup, it's just going to get thrown into the wind.
Yeah, and I do kind of strongly disagree with what Sane was saying earlier when he felt his mindset was there more so clumping up. I guess that might have been part of the problem, but I felt like in many cases they were just spread a bit too thin. They weren't all going in the same directions. Like as we saw that last flag cap, that did not go in the favor of Incognito. It was a situation where they didn't have enough force covering the most threatening spawns, like on the flag. They didn't have somebody ready to grab that flag as quick as it got dropped over on landing. People were spread over trying just to stop the flanks, and people come over near health packs. So I would love to see what they do to alter and adjust this. Obviously, they've already made a couple corrections as they've gotten one capture while I was going on that long tangent. But at the end of the day, it still seems like, most importantly, they're getting the slays. When you have the kills, you have options. And so it's going to be a situation where they're going to have more chances to run these flags and attempt and fix their flaws.
This is nice. Cheeky double while 3 players are down. See if they can capitalize and keep the movement through the jump up we go. And that's a perfect flag. Down low, bottom middle, job done. Up through the front of the window. And secures it 2-1. Rather quick, rather sharp. It's nice response as well. They're going to go for a third one. Sniper's up. There's the double. He can look toward the triple. He doesn't quite get it or land it, but he still gets the kill regardless. So they can keep on moving this flag. This could be too quick. Caps, Dave. This is
just dangerous. I mean, we've seen this team flip a switch mid-game already. They went from not securing a capture when they had nearly all 4 members down from RBG to essentially getting a double capture about 3 minutes later.
Kills pay the bills. Exactly what can get done on this one, but there will be a response from the side of the blue team. They are moving the flag as well. No scope, lands the target, doesn't get the kill. One player not keeping him in check though. Sion will be forced to hunt this one down. He knows he's bottom mid. His teammates will be shining around the hollow area. This will give the information, but he has faded away for now. Shields health to the maximum. He looks towards the flag. He's actually inside the base. Good read and good check from the opposing player. Flag's in the lift. It's up on the side of the streets. This could be a 4th flag instantly, and that's all within a couple of minutes, Dave.
Yeah, and what a quick turnaround as well. It felt like RBG was getting that control back, but just that moment of chaos where Incognito able to win their individual fights, able to push on over, get that flag toss out, and get them in a chaotic situation. It speaks volumes to their previous name.
They've let this game run away from them, and we're kind of keeping up and toe-to-toe at the start. And all of a sudden, we just see Incognito find the feet, find the kills, find the faces, and this could be finding the 5th and final flag. To be honest with you, a bit of a fumble as it hits ring 2. Opts to go low hollows. If he does this and gets it round, his teammates are there to collect him. This will be a GG. One player's down in front of him. He's forced to check hollows as well. Down by light, you'll see these players going low. They can't go high. They have goal control for now. 3 players, though, should be able to get the job done. Checks the nade launcher. It's up, looks towards the streets. Make sure the back door is completely covered and no one can make an entry point. And that, for me, unless there's some rough signs on the opposing side, the flag will keep on moving.
They're getting the slays right now, though. So although RBG got the 2nd cap, that is 3 members down for RBG at the moment. That should be all 4 down temporarily by Neptune and the Incognito squad. So they should be able to go on the offensive, and I'm a little concerned as to why Neptune isn't taking up more ground, but he knows angles better than I do as he picks off that player spawning on the blue flag.
Flag, basement, base, all over the place. He can control the streets now and just drive this game to where he wants it to go. His teammates can coordinate with him. You hold this angle, we'll meet you later on. Get the job done, get the bodies down, and then get the flag moving. Which route they opt to take is the question. They need more kills, they need more direction. This is where you look towards your IGL. Which way we're going to go, boys, and what we're going to do. Keep the communication tight, keep these players close. They are now just applying so much pressure. RBG have just been strangulated here. They're starved for oxygen. There's nowhere really they can go. They're all being forced bottom middle.
They're just panicking, like you said. Pushing bottom middle, maybe Goofy pushing top middle, desperately trying to push on over, but this flag's going to go in, and that's 5th and final cap, Sims.
GG. That was quicker and a lot more.
They looked dangerous, that game. So dangerous. They had a couple moments where it was shaky at the start, or later on when they lost control a little bit. But for the most part, they were so in control that entire game, and that double cap was incredibly impressive.
Dude, Cyan 21-9. Slapping some faces. That's some big boy numbers. Everyone else around the positive mark, I believe so.
By 29.
Quick math. I like it. Yeah, that's a whooping. That's a proper whooping.
29 over the course of how many minutes was that? Let's say like 7 minutes or so. So I mean, geez.
There was no room to breathe whatsoever.
Yeah.
Every single time you would see street control, you would see them bopping between, especially with a sniper. Like power weapon control was completely 110% dominated in the side of Incognito there. That sniper drove the game. It directed the rest of the team where they wanted to go and basically got the job done. You keep killing them. How many triple kills do we see off the back of it? 2, 3, maybe even 4 potentially. The unofficial overkill. And this is the thing. This is one of the main factors I find with Halo Reach. Because there's no bloom and because it's DMR, you always have that zooming capabilities. You always have the angles. It's so painful is team shot on this because it's very, very open. The open maps, compared to like your midships where you can have your P2 or even your carbine and your bubbles give you something back in Halo 3 to at least hide and use and work between. This, you are utterly exposed.
Incredibly open, unlike something like Countdown where you can get into those level 2 areas where you're not getting as much crossfire. Another way to look at that outslaying is, like we said, it was 29 kills over the course of about 7 minutes. That's essentially saying it's a 3 versus 4 for 40 seconds of every minute because they outslayed about 4 kills every minute. So think about that. You're basically saying, you know, 2/3 of the minute, we're up 3v4 on the opposing team. Any kills you get beyond that is great. Or they can go even from there and they're still ahead in numbers. And that's essentially the advantage that you could try to calculate that Incognito had over RBG that last game.
When you put that into perspective like that, it's so derogative, and it's such a horrible feeling where you are just getting battered and bodied off of spawn time and time again. You come out of the death screen, and all of a sudden a sniper staring at you, hits you in the chest, someone else is looking from a different angle. It's so unrelentless and it's so unforgiving. And eventually, a lot... Hello?
Sneaky, and it gets the kill. But Neptune just flying straight out with that camo. And Blaze just meeting him up for that second kill. This is not a great start here for RBG. You obviously want to have control of your sniper rifle. You want to be back on your base, but now I'm assuming Incognito has 2 sniper rifles and a camo in their hands.
It's quite funny from Neptune's POV, you just see 3 players, and even though he goes down, Dave, the information that the rest of his roster gains off the back of that by just telling them where they all are, they can now make the offensive push, go in and mop up the kills. Which is kind of what's happening. We've got a bit of a stopgap for now. Not too much, though, to say we've already got 13 frags on the board. We're only 1 minute into the game. This is going to be nasty. A little bit more slower paced for now. We have ring control. Someone steps in and unfortunately steps out. Takes a bullet to the brain, bites that one, moves forward. All 4 players are dead. Triple off the back of Ola.
And here's the thing is you have someone like Neptune who stole the second sniper. You had Renegade with Incognito sniper. Yeah, Ola's still pulling off triple kills with just the DMR. Just what he's got in his bare hands.
They've got him dead to rights there, David. This is not good. This is not good at all. And whether or not this is RBG completely just collapsing under the pure amount of pressure, or if Incognito says, you know what, we've woken up, we've found us footing, we're here to play. This is looking like a top-tier team for this competition. If they keep up this level of performance, again, there is the alternate universe where RBG is just completely playing like trash.
No, I mean, we can tell a big difference between a team that is clicking well, that's pushing, that's hitting their shots, versus the other team that's being, you know, very mistake-heavy. This Incognito roster, we've seen both ends of that spectrum. We've seen them have their moments where they've struggled, especially in that last series against Unlimited International. And we saw even during that Zealot flag game, we saw some bad moments in my eyes from Incognito, not closing out caps that they should have or getting the control they should have. But once they flip that switch, they look like a completely different team. It's not like they do this from series to series. They can do that within the same game, so they're so terrifying to play against. Just knowing that, yeah, you could have a few things go right against them, and then the next set of spawns, they're just banging on all cylinders, doing everything perfect.
Saiyan does go down with the camo, but it was an offensive play to at least clean up and mop up 2 kills individually. They were both taken down, no shield, but that doesn't matter if you can actually put points on the board. Double comes out from the opposing side, though. Move on to Neptune. Scopes down the barrel, looks for the player, hits him in the side of the chest. Assist medal instantly comes through. No scope down from the car, looks for the second player in midair, doesn't quite hit it, but he wanted to. It would have been a montage play if he did, but it doesn't matter. When you are 31-17, you can do what the hell you want.
This one is not looking good here, and we are going to have to see if anything changes with the next set of snipers, but, I mean, we haven't really seen RBG get set up and get any sort of spree with that. It just felt like they're always on the defensive. It feels similar to how the stat I broke down last game, where it just feels like they're always down in numbers and doesn't feel like they can really get anything going.
Sometimes we say teams that are having a difficult time, just kind of slow it down and feel out what's going wrong and get yourselves together. These guys can't slow it down. I don't even feel like they've put the foot on the pedal. They don't have an option to. There's no chance. From the opposing side of Incognito, it's them that are keeping up this level of speed. This speed of play at the moment has completely run away from RBG, and they have no response for it. They don't know how to counter this. I mean, hell, I wouldn't know how to counter this. What do you really do if you can't get weapon control, you can't get map control, you can't get anything? You're buggered.
Yeah, you're in big trouble, and to answer your question on how do you slow it down in a scenario like that, you really have to take it spawn by spawn and determine what your best option is in those scenarios. In many cases, if you start to spawn in rocks and your teammates are all spawning with you, you really have no other option than to try to make a quick push and take up some stronger ground, like your nearby health pack. However, if you're getting split spawns and you're spawning over in rocks, your job is just to stay alive a little bit longer. Dodge around, make the opponents use an extra grenade or two, make them forcefully run all the way around into those rocks, so they have to get into the back of blue or back of red base, and that way your death does not go in vain. That way when you get split spawn somewhere else, those other players, they're stuck over at the opposite base. You have a little bit more time, a little bit more breathing room on your following life, and so that's what the general strategy is. when we talk about slowing it down, what does that benefit? It just allows the opposing team to make more mistakes, potentially. It buys more time for your teammates to spawn, and it forces the opposing team, ideally, into less ideal positions, so that when you do die and maybe you can't get a kill off that first spawn, it sets you up for more success on your following life.
Saving grace. This isn't the stake, but certainly this team has been run through the fire. Trial by fire will be game number 3. Game over comes in 50-37. And this is looking dire straits here for RBG. They have just been hit with a wave of Incognito players who are wanting to make it to Championship Sunday, and more importantly, even potentially win this event. That team looks good.
Yeah, it does. And I think one of the definitions of Sanctuary is that should be a safe place, but that was no safe place if you're on RBG there. It was just devastation every single turn, and they had nothing they could really do. Like you said, it felt like they couldn't slow it down in the ways that I normally would recommend for a team to.
18 kills from the Lonely Wizard up top. Pretty decent, that, you gotta say. He was talking about it yesterday, just don't think about it, just do it, and he's just doing it up on main stage once again. Doesn't matter how old this dude is and how many years he's been doing it. Ola just does magical things, and it's a blessing to watch. Another blessing is just seeing, I can't keep talking about this weekend, expect me to, especially after casting a hell of a lot of Halo 5, seeing dual sniper maps. You love to see it. The one thing we didn't see, actually, and I think this kind of speaks to the speed and volume of that game, nobody using any jetpacks.
We saw them on some people's backs, like that very first melee we saw from Neptune taking out Goofy, but nobody really used it at the same level that we saw from Boo Boo Doo Boo, nor do I expect us the rest of this event to see somebody use it to that same level of effectiveness.
Kind of a night and day scenario though, right? When you look at Boo Boo Doo Boo, how that match unfolded, how his team actually allowed him to do that. That was one of the most important things, that nobody could touch him because he was back there on the safe area of his map. They didn't let anyone push under car, they didn't let anybody push through rocks. He was safe, he was secured, he could do that. Get the sniper off the respawn, keep just bobbing, weaving, ducking, diving, whatever you want to get that spree. With a situation like this, in this game, it was, you know what? Hold forward and shoot the goddamn living hell out of them, and that's what's happened. It was a damn good game, but if RBG want to stay in this series, they have to win this match now. We move on to Beaver, or at least I call it Beaver, to be fair, Beaver Creek, whatever else you want to call it. It's entirely up to you.
I call it Battle Creek
Battle
from,
Creek.
playing in Halo 1. I mean, I'm not sure if you really played that one since.
No. I don't think any really North Americans played it, to be fair. I didn't have XBC at the time. Hell, I didn't even have internet at the time when Halo CE came out. It was the first game I got with the Xbox when I got it for Christmas, but yeah. It's an interesting... Is it Battle Creek where you come from?
Battle Creek is actually where McWin was originally from. I do live
Michigan,
about
right?
an hour and a half. Yeah, it's in Michigan, so I live an hour and a half away from a city called Battle Creek.
The irony of a town named after a Halo map breeding Halo players. Aye. Rockets then bottom middle. Snipers there as well. He could cycle this to one of his teammates, or he could just take 2 back and run the old combo. Maybe swap it out, maybe be greedy. Sure, entire choice. Both snipers in play, though. Both snipers, unfortunately, on the side of Incognito. That's a quick scope down low. Very rare you would actually see somebody here with a sniper in Creek, and more importantly, actually doing work with it. Rockets are there. Backside of blue, gone. One individual player, as we are hovering around red looking for more players. And they can keep control. This is more important, keeping control of red. You know what, just while we've got a bit of time, Dave, explain to me, red, why is it so important?
As we said before, it's the arch. Arch just determines everything. When you have that rocket arch, which goes through the very center of the map, it's a counter to so many strong positions, whether that's the top of blue base, whether that's the blue sniper perch. There's just 2 power positions on the opposite side of the map that the opposing team can't effectively use when someone's over on the rocket arch. The bigger counters to it is you actually need people over at red, and there aren't great avenues to get towards red base. If you already have red locked down and you have rocket arch, it's really tough to counter rocket arch because you really have to go through either the center of the creek. Sometimes you have to portal through blindly and hopefully just catch them at the wrong moment and catch them in a one-on-one and somehow win that. There's just really no great options. So that's why the rocket arch is so strong, and especially to get it early on, because this first hill moves on over towards red, and you're going to see Incognito picking up a lot of kills and picking up a lot of time.
Oh, no. It's all going wrong. Who's this up top? Saiyan is just tanking people up from Archway, and Look at the time. Keep an eye on that, audience that are watching this. Dave just told you exactly why red is so important. A perpendicular to why Cyan is up here. They watch the back, and that, unfortunately, this time they get a little bit of an answer through the doorway. They can stop the bleeding for now, but I hear rockets in the back. It feels like two players were taking a bit of a tumble back there. So they get the kills, and more importantly, they can stop this bleeding, which is good, but it's already done the damage by controlling it for that length of time. Even if they get the kills now, they've run the clock down, and whatever you leave for your opposing team to pick up, it's kind of scraps, because then you just go on the offensive then and wait for bottom middle. And
it's not even a situation where RBG's gotten full control. Keep that in mind. Even though they've gotten a few kills, they got Incognito out of the hill, it's still a scenario where Sane was still alive with that sniper, running around red, buying time. It's not like they could comfortably get inside that hill and do a full setup. In fact, they never even got somebody over towards the top rocket arch because, like I said, top rocket arch is good as long as they don't have someone over at red, and they can't comfortably get in that position until they clear out red.
Blaze is caught off guard from base there of blue. You see someone running arch. Gabriel just does not listen to his teammates at all, even though the calls should have definitely come through. There was a player running around the bottom side of the front of the base. Two individuals will be in, though. Gabriel, unfortunately, takes a grenade, but he does stay alive. I'll hold my tongue for now. He at least stays alive, so a bit of a frag, a little bit of more time in there. Blaze making sure no one takes snipe ramp if the opposing sniper is up.
There's that counter
time, so it should be up because it comes up on the 10. Looks down low, and unfortunately, didn't really get too much out of it, controlling sniper.
Not as much, but there's a couple factors in there. One, Blaze had a teammate over at blue base, so sometimes negatively affecting those spawns, or kind of showing the distribution of players that, heck, maybe neither side really controls a base at this moment in time. And secondly, he got flanked from the creek. That's his teammate's job and responsibility. You need to trust one of your teammates to be on top of the base or some sort of eyes on the creek. That is not the top Rocket Arch's job. Rocket Arch's job is to counter the top of blue and counter the blue sniper side.
Ill control.
Blue snipe here in red. Trying to find this final player who is down in creek. Saying will run away, keep his shields alive, probably run through Magnum. Neptune, top of red, top of blue. Individual is chasing him around. Oh, just shot his teammates. A bit unfortunate circumstances. Assist medal comes through, so at least capitalize on that one player. Try and scrap up a bit of time here. This is nice. Even if it's just a few seconds, they need to draw their attention away. Let the teammates maybe get a few kills.
Yeah, I think here's the thing is, when it comes to scrapping up time in these hills that we consider, like we coined, scrappy hills, meaning you can't really effectively hold a full-on setup consistently, you really need to do it in a cyclic format. By that, I mean you generally need to get some sort of kill or some sort of advantage first and then jump in the hill. It's generally the wrong move to jump in the hill unless you have a varying amount of information that justifies it when you're in even footing. Like a situation where like both teams have two people down and you know they're both on the other side of the map where you can just challenge a one-on-one in a fair fight while you're scrapping up time. Or you know that they're all out of position when both have all four alive or something like that. There's very rare circumstances in my eyes that if your team is even in numbers, or especially if you're down in numbers, that you should be jumping inside the scrappy hill because you're just setting your team up for future failure.
Just noted that Cyan was on a killing spree, so doing damage in the back there. Renegade will fall and transfer sniper to the hands of the blue team. Time is of the essence, though. Random
Goofy
Nick.
lived!
Did he? I didn't notice it. Oh, wow. Okay.
That was amazing.
I thought
Goofy was going for the Despy grenade to try to hit Sane. Sane ended up shooting the grenade, blowing himself up, and Goofy lived. That was one of the most wacky Looney Tunes exchanges I've ever seen in my entire life.
The boy who lived. Come not to die by a grenade. Neptune chasing down, rockets up. Probably going to check back of the base here, make sure we got no walkers wandering through and keep the timer ticking. Dark side with the rocks will be there. Hovering around blue just to, I mean, it's the defensive stance, right? You get up on top of the, that won't hit it because that'll hit the rocks. You can bounce the grenade off though and maybe go through and go on the offensive from the opposing side so you can get an opposing angle, which is fine, and that's one of the strengths of the DMR, especially on this map. You can just traverse the top of the bases and get so many sight lines across the map. But the punishment, it is relentless, and it's also relentless when you're nading your own teammates.
I wonder if Full fessed up to that. I'm sure he's just like, hey, there was someone over there. I took care of him. Don't worry about it. Base is still clear. But yeah, I don't know. You find out a lot about somebody personally when you team with them, and you go back and film, and you notice that they nade you and whether they fessed up to it or not. And that just tells you a lot about their character.
Who's the worst one you've teamed with?
That has to be the Ogres would never fess up to it. Here's the thing: Aside would do it, but he would fess up to it later, and then also said he'd do it on purpose. So I'm not sure if that makes him better or worse. I think it's worse. Yeah,
especially
definitely
if you're like
worse.
Scream and you've just picked up fresh rocks or something. Yeah, I just thought I'd kill you. It's fine, not a problem. Snipe across the map, just off the back of the double. Still checking out the base here. On top, several players, and it's looking a little bit difficult here with that scoreline. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Bullet goes down from top archway. Nades come across. Spoke earlier on about giving away position. That's exactly what it does. It would have been a good nade had it landed. Tags in the back as well. Gives Ola some support. He can chase this kill down and easily pick it up. And depending on how many are actually dead, it's 3 of them.
And there's that cyclical format that I was talking about for getting in the hill is, you know, someone from Incognito kills a player from RBG, and then that player jumps in the hill and you grab that time. It's just those temporary windows of advantage that you get a kill and you jump back in.
It's a bit of an extra reward for like 2 or 3 kills, right?
Yes. So it's one of those times where it's like, it's almost, it's always a window of opportunity as soon as you get immediate kill to jump in the hill if you do it right away. There's some sort of window of opportunity. And you can judge that for yourself, whether it's like the stalemate and tons of people have eyes on the hill, but generally, a lot of times players are vying for control or vying for different positions across the map, and if one of their teammates gets a kill on the hill, they're kind of ignoring hill for a moment and trying to look at where they can counter where other players are at.
Well, spoke about throwing nades at your teammates.
He can't. Yeah, he has to fess up to that one.
Yeah, there's no real getting away with it, right? Especially when it's announced to the entire team.
However, I've also had teammates that go the gaslighting route from there. They say, "Why were you in that position?
That's your fault, not mine.
You made me rocket you. That was your fault."
Dude, it's so bad. Like when you go to snipe somebody and all of a sudden your teammate just walks in front of you and you just see betrayal. It's like, well, it's your own fault. You shouldn't be sniping from that angle. What do you mean?
See, you're one of the gaslighters.
Oh, no. No, I'm not. I mean, I can't even hit my teammate's head, let alone the enemy's half the time. Unless it was a H2 sniper, then I could do it with that, and that's because of the aim assist that came with it. But we won't talk about that one player outside of red. So Renegade needs to be aware of this one. Will be attacking up on the top sniper on the opposing side. 5 minutes has just passed on the clock. So we'll run this one down. Still within reaching distance, I think is fair to say. It's a large gap. It's only a minute. It's not the end of the world whatsoever for RBG, but it could be the end of this series should they lose. What could be, it will be the end of the series if they lose this one.
This is their best chance to get back in the game. We talked about how powerful the red hill can be, especially if you get a full sep and you have someone over at Rocket Arch, but it feels like Blaze and the RBG crew are getting picked apart a little bit. They weren't able to get this full sep. They were scrapping up some time, which is good, but they need to look at the bigger picture. This hill is going to be here for another 70 seconds, and instead it seemed like they opted to get in the hill first to scrap up that time versus prioritizing a full setup or control.
All of a sudden the dog pile is real from red team. 2 of them just jump in. One of them's taking control of Archway. He has gone down. That was Renegade, but his teammate might be able to take snipe ramp. Dirty little angle here from Needles and just bodies him. Goofy says bye-bye as Neptune just hits him in the chest, spins around again. There is a second one there. Needs a bit of help and loving tender care as he does go down, but they could breach into this one. However, Renegade has different ideas. I don't understand, Dave, how someone's shooting him from this side, but they have players inside the base. Like, they haven't actually pushed up yet, which is surprising. Now, watch out for this one. This could be the surprise attack that they needed. The players are weak. There's one in front of him. There's the initial one. Grenade goes up. Ola comes in from behind, and by biding his time inside that base, they might be able to wipe them off the face of the planet here and continue that time.
Yeah, the player hiding in the base, their goal is to come out at the right spot, the right time. It's not a situation where they are expected to single-handedly go get a kill or kill someone on the hill. They need to be a disruptor. They need to react based on where their teammates are coming from and giving support. And so that also plays into a lot of that patience. Like we talked about how Renegade the other day was so incredibly patient, just waiting inside the base with Rockets where he had many opportunities to go out and trade. And it had to be in the right play because it's so risky. There's so many times where as soon as you poke outside the base, you're more than likely putting yourself in a position where you could give a trade kill, where you might get that finish or get the kill, but someone's ready for you to poke out immediately. It's very rare that you sneak inside the base and the other team's unaware.
Fed trade, those power weapons are trading back and forth. Sniper rockets, which way does it want to go? Which person does it want to land in the hands of? Renegade just lurking for now. Plenty of a buffer to work with. They don't have to go doing stupid stuff here and giving away. I said needless deaths. It's not a Slayer match, but needless deaths are if you're actually not controlling the hill. You need more players to be able to throw at that and get it under control and deal with the situation directly in front of you. Snipes in, hits the body. His teammates should be there for the assist kill. If not, it at least just forces him out of the hill, which is more than enough to do the damage.
Yep, at this point, they just need to get kills and stay alive, and obviously keeping the RBG players out of the hill, but you know that kind of correlates with just getting kills in general. If you have the numbers advantage, it's very easy to get people out of the scrappy hill. If you don't have the numbers advantage and you're down 1 or 2 players, getting someone out of the hill generally results in giving your life up and doesn't necessarily guarantee getting that player even out of the hill. So it's just a game of getting kills right now, and as long as Incognito are going even in slays, I have a feeling they're going to close out this game just fine.
Hill control. 1 minute to win.
Hop back and forth between individual players. Time still coming in from bottom mid. Neptune with the transfer in the previous round, previous few seconds that you saw with the double. Does go down, should be able to jawline him, knock him out, and then just let him know about it as well. I'm okay with it. More of that, please. Instant swing with the sniper, doesn't hit any of the 2 no scopes, but honestly, I don't think it matters whatsoever. That's a beautiful little quick scope. Goes for the second follow-up. His teammate is behind him. And they actually kind of brought it back a little bit, but we will be getting to that point where it's mathematically impossible to win this game as we just run down the clock. And I think that's
impossible now. Yep, there is the 3-0 from Incognito. Looking really good.
Whoa. I do love some of these snipes that people are pulling off on Halo Reach. I know it's a bit, I say a little bit easier. I know it's one of those games where it is good to snipe, but when you see some of the no-scopes and stuff, and that one from Boo Boo yesterday, we actually ended it on the Exterm, was disgusting. Like, we heard the Exterm and then the game over as well. What a way to end it. Flashy players, we want to see them. We want to see good wins, but we also want to see some flashy players as well from individuals, because we do know there is a good level of skill here this weekend. The players' capabilities should be able to show that and put on a show for us. 3, 2, 1. That is a GG. Incognito once again continue their winning streak. Undefeated so far in all the series that they have played within. Another main stage match, Dave, and another W in the books.
Have Incognito dropped the game? Who did they, if so, who did they drop a game to? Was it Unlimited?
Unlimited.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it was
3-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds about right. I was just gonna speculate if they hadn't dropped a game yet. It's just like they're on a great run so far, and it seems like every single challenge they step up further and meet that challenge. But Neptune, big surprise, most kills again. Wow, you know, didn't see that coming.
It's getting normal, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to say.
It's actually so scary to think about how he's doing that with the teammates he has.
Yeah.
Outslaying someone like Renegade, Saiyan, Pistola, like that's disgusting and unheard of.
It's good. It's fun. And so is that team as well.